V27 series has turned a lot of heads since its launch, and a major highlight of the series has been its superb camera performance and innovations. Be it the Sony sensor that has been specially customized for this series, the 50MP primary camera that doesn't disappoint even in low light conditions, the 50MP selfie camera that gives flagship phones a run for their money, or the all-new Aura light that replaces the conventional flash. Vivo has made the bold choice of providing the same experience in terms of camera and display in their V27 Pro model as well as the base model, with the processor being the only factor setting the phones apart. Let's find out more about the development of the camera system in our exclusive conversation with the Vivo team.
So what is a photograph to you now? At one time it used to be, okay, we're freezing a memory. But now with the amount of things that happen after we press the shutter button, the computational, the algorithms, the filters, is it still a memory or is it a false memory now? Because so many different things happen to a picture. It's not the way we actually remember how we look or the world looks like this. So what is a photograph in current terms now?
A photograph is still a photograph like it used to be. It's just that the way we are taking the photograph has changed a lot. You remember the earlier ones, we used to take it on film and develop the film, and then we went into digital, and now it's a combination of digital and high level computation. So the output, it's still capturing a memory, but we are just making it more and more accessible and giving the users more and more options of how they want the photograph to look.
Now, taking from that, the part that has not remained the same is the brand new Vivo V27 series, right? What have you done different from the previous generation?
Sure. So when it comes to Vivo V series, design and aesthetics and camera, these are the two core pillars, right? And this time in V27 series, a lot of enrichments and enhancements have been done, but the very significant one is the 3D curve display. So either it is V27 or V27 Pro, both variants have got 3D curve display, right? Second is within camera, if you look at, while people buy our V series because of the selfie experience, we are continuing with 50 megapixel eye autofocus selfie camera. But two big enhancements what we have done is we have developed some India customized features. So for the first time, we are bringing India's first wedding style portrait. Yeah. So what it does, there are a lot of filters what we have developed which are specially designed for Indian weddings, and it will give you those images which are immediately can go on social media, right? That's one big enhancement. Second is night portrait. That becomes one of the pain area for customers, right? We tried addressing it with our night portrait with Aura light. Mm-hmm. So that Aura light is this big thing, right? That out, yes. Right. So the moment people turn on the night portrait, this automatically turns on.
Okay, great. So now the part that he spoke about, which is interesting, is the 3D curve and everything else. Now, in terms of aesthetics and looks, and in terms of something else, the V27 series base and Pro have no difference, right? Which is also the camera and optics. Yes. That's a pretty unique decision to take, because usually the main difference between a non-Pro and a Pro is nowadays for any brand is camera. Why did you take that decision?
We wanted the experience of the camera for V27 series to be the same, whether it's the regular user or it's the Pro user. And you would know that camera is actually one of the most expensive hardware parts that you put in the camera. So we have taken a very strong decision to do this, that whether you have a V27 or a V27 Pro, in terms of camera sensors, in terms of the Aura light, and in terms of the overall camera experience, it should be identical.
It's a very interesting thing to do, and I completely agree with the thought process. But tell me now, with the kind of changes that you've made and everything else that is coming in, what's becoming more important now for smartphone optics? Mm-hmm. Is it hardware innovation or is it software and computational?
Actually, it's like two sides of a coin. And
okay. Which is the heavier part?
The heavier part right now would be hardware. But software is also a very major chunk, because we have so many algorithms that we are running in the background, and software tuning is what makes the hardware work better. So a lot of different phones will use the similar kind of hardware, but the output and the experience of the camera is based on how good your software is.
But taking up from what you've just said, why is the smartphone industry still chasing the megapixel part? You have unbelievable cameras, professional cameras that are still at 12 megapixel, right? So is this become something like a little bit of a trap for your industry, that you started off with megapixel, now you have to play that game? Is megapixel more important than sensor? Which is the right way to go now?
So sure, I think to put it simply, I think megapixel is not the game where which we are going to follow, right? What matters to consumer is the real output, right? The picture has to look beautiful. Picture, the object has to stand out, right? If they're looking for portrait, there has to be bokeh effects, right? So what matters to us as a Vivo company, and especially for V series, what we believe in the aperture, the sensor, and the algorithms. Like you asked me whether it is a hardware heavy or a software. Honest answer is it's balance, right? It's a mix of both, right?
Now, we spoke about sensors being one of the most important things. You've also spoken about the fact that a megapixel is not the way to buy a phone, right? So, Vivo is one of those rare companies that's actually been working to customize a lot of things, including working with, let's say Sony to customize the sensors, the chip and everything, many other things that are being brought in. So, why do you need to go to a brand to customize something for you when all other brands seem to use their stock sensor? Even that is a great sensor. Why do you feel the need to customize it?
We start our camera development process by listening to the customer and seeing what is their requirement, right? If an off-the-shelf sensor cannot fill the requirements the expectations that we have from the output and what we need from the camera, then we go and collaborate with these like sensor companies, Sony and Samsung and OmniVision.
So that customized sensor is then yours, no other brand can use it?
So
it's been made for you.
Yes, so we like V27 Pro and V27 have an IMX766V sensor.
V sensor,
so the V stands for Vivo.
Okay,
so it's
okay.
a Vivo
So this is just for you.
Yes.
No one else can get
Yes.
their hands on that at all,
Yes.
right? Okay,
Yeah.
that's very interesting and something that I think a lot of people may not be aware of, right?
Yes.
Thank you so much for speaking with us and going deep into what all can be expected from the Vivo 27 series, which I think I can very, very candidly say we are very impressed with. Thank you so much for speaking with us.